and then at the end it will pay off.
Can he do it? Can he do it? Yes, he can. 33.06.
That went all much quicker than I expected, actually, you know. I must say I had been very lucky.
Hey, j'espère que vous allez bien. On se retrouve aujourd'hui dans une nouvelle vidéo. Aujourd'hui, on est des écuries Van der Vleuten à Zomeren dans le sud des Pays-Bas. Et aujourd'hui, si on se retrouve, c'est pour aller rencontrer Michael Van der Vleuten qui a remporté la médaille d'argent aux Olympiques de Londres en 2012 par équipe. Et son petit frère et également toutes les personnes qui travaillent au sein de cette écurie de jumping. Donc j'espère que ça va vous plaire. C'est parti!
Hi, my name is Inge, I'm 33 years old and I'm a homegrown at Springstal van der Vleuten in Zomeren. I was 6 years old when I decided to start riding ponies. My family didn't agree at all, but I really wanted it. So I was riding ponies once a week on a riding school, and that's where the love started. And after that I went to school, of course. Then I did a study for the working with horses. I did for 4 years. And then I was done with school and I started to work in the horse world, what I still really like to do. I work now for 2 years here, and before that I worked in the other stables also as 2 times as a home groom, and I also been for 5 years a show groom. That's what I did, but I think staying at home I like the most, to take care of the horses when they come back from the shows and ride them a bit and make them ready for the shows. That I like at home more than in the shows. In the morning we start here with feeding the horses, of course. Then everyone cleans stalls and we sweep and we clean outside so that everything looks pretty. We put horses in the walker that get ridden in the afternoon. The horses come out twice a day. So the horses in the morning go in a walker, they ride in the afternoon, and the opposite. We put the horses in the field. That's really important that they still go in the field even if they are superstars. If Michael is home and the show groom is off, I make horses ready for him the whole day, most of it. Sometimes I ride too. Actually, I ride most every day. Not every day, but 5 times in a week, 1, 2 horses. I launch them, I clip them if it's necessary, when the show groom has no time for clipping them. I'm here when the vets are here to know what's going on with the horses. In the afternoon we feed them and we clean up, and that's it, a bit.
Perfect.
You do it every day, but if you have to tell it, it's what am I doing the whole day? That's so stupid. I know. What I love about this job is, of course, the horses, because I only love for them. They are the best and the sweetest, and it's amazing if you can ride in the woods with them, and that's if you have that as a job, that you can work with those phenomenal, the super animals. And the bosses are really nice, they're really nice normal people. That's also a plus. If you want to work in the horse world, then you have to be prepared that your social life it's not so big anymore as it was before, but you get back from it a lot.
Hello, I'm Erik van der Vleuten Jr. I'm 26 years old. I have my stable here in Zomeren. I grew up here in Asten. Actually, we went there all with the family when we were young. We started out just with the lessons with the ponies. I think I was 8 or 9 years old. And we rode there in the lessons. I have to say I liked the ponies. I was playing also soccer, quite serious, so I did a little bit of both. And then later you make a decision that you prefer to be with the family, so you choose for the horses. So I did. I was a little successful by the ponies, and then after I got my first horse and I start more serious. Yeah, and now at the end I think we have a successful stable now altogether. So I think I have a good memory by Glock in Austria. I think I was there second in the Grand Prix. That was on 3-star level. Then I was successful in Valkenswaard a few times. Also with the young horses, I was competing there very well. I was winning both finals in 2 weeks. That is always good memories, especially because I work a lot with also young horses, so that is actually good. And then I have like a few horses where I compete till 2-3-star level, quite successful. So yeah, I think I have one horse what changed my life. Yeah, that was Casantos. We bought it as an 8-year-old. He did everything here, shows around, local shows. And then we bought it, and in the beginning, to be honest, I didn't have really directly the click with the horse. And I started quietly build him up, and at the end we end on a high level, and yeah, we were quite successful actually. So that changed really the way for me also to get more opportunities in rideability. Yeah. I have actually always a little bit young horses and older horses. They come here normally, or we select them as 4, 5 or 6 years old, or we breed the horses. If the horses are 3 and they're coming here, then we select them. If we think it's worth it or good enough to continue, then I start working on it, and then we build them up on all the local shows to get the best out of the horses. And then at the end I will ride it to international level, and if we think really it's a good one, then at the end we can keep it for Michael to go to the highest level. Yeah, so I think it's a good combination for us that we can start from young horses to produce them to the highest level. So I think now with this difficult situation with the corona, it's important to keep the horses good fit. So we have here all the possibilities with the shows here around, with the international shows and the national shows here in Holland and Belgium. We can keep them fit, and then nobody knows like when it's gonna be normal again, but maybe it's possible we can do next year going to a tour in Spain or whatever, what's possible, Sunshine Tour. And then we can start to build horses a bit more up. I think to be successful, it's important that you always believe in yourself. Also that you have someone behind who can help you a little bit. And that you always look good around also to other people, what they do. Even it's good or fault, but you always the things where you can learn from, that you can use it for yourself, and always work hard for it, because it's not always only talent, it's also the way how hard you work for it, and then at the end it will pay off.
So hello everyone, my name is Michael van der Vleuten, Dutch show jumper, and already many years successful in the big sport. Yeah, so my father had actually already quite a big show jumping stable in nearby the place where we live now, and we had quite a big stable with 25 horses. So I basically grew up really between the horses. But I must say, I always liked it to be in between the horses, and they actually never had to push me to just play around with the ponies and that kind of stuff. So no, it was really something that was in me, you know, working with the horses, and slowly from you know, a young age on, yeah, start growing. My parents gave me like a little pony, like start riding with, you know, like not playing, but start to learn all the basic things a little bit. You know, I start to take some lessons twice a week, and for sure my mum in that time was really, you know, traveling everywhere with me to do little competitions, to take those lessons, just to get all the basic things on the right way. And yeah, that's actually how it starts, and yeah, that's how the first step is. In our time, we first need the dressage points to be able to go to the jumping competition. So that's what we did first, of course, and then I was really happy when I could do my first competition. And I don't know exactly anymore how it went, but I mean, first of all, I had fun with what I was doing. I think that's very important for everyone who starts riding, and yeah, there was fun. And already from the beginning, I was pushing myself already a lot. You know, I was always willing to compete quite strong. You know, I was always willing to win the competition. So the winning mood was, yeah, something that was in me already as a young age. Besides, it went quite well with me as a rider. I think I also got the luck that I got the right horse on the right time in my career. So I'm talking about Verdi, who came in my stable already when I was 17 years old, and the horse was 4 years old. And so we really grew up together. And my father has been riding that horse as a 7-year-old, and gave it back to me when the horse became 8 years old, and that went actually well. We started again in the 140 classes, but we really grew very fast, you know, as a combination. That means that we were already in the European team for the seniors when I was 23 and Verdi was only 9 years old. And the year after, when he was 10 and I was 24, we got already a place in the Olympic team. So that was, you know, that went all much quicker than I expected, actually. You know, I was for sure I wanted to be there once, but I never expected that it should go that quick, you know. And there actually we had a super team with good riders, good horses, and we came home with a silver medal. And yeah, that was of course one of the, or actually the biggest highlight of my career. Actually, when I was born, my father started building in that time his own place. So that's where I grew up. I lived there for 25 years. And since 7 years we bought this place where we live now. Because in that time my father built it for himself, but then I came into the horses, my brother came involved with the horses, and on the end it started to get a bit small, you know. Yeah. So we had the possibility to buy this place, and I think it's a fantastic place where we all have our own stable to take care of, and our own horses. So me, my brother, my father, and I think it's a great place here to work as a family. So actually in my stable, so where I'm standing now, we have 20 boxes, and here are actually the horses from 6 years old and older. And at the other side, where my brother has his horses, he's more spending time on the younger horses. So horses we bought as a foal, that we buy as a 3 or 4 years old, you know, just to produce them and to develop them and see how they grow up, and if they are good enough to spend time in, you know. And then I slowly start to take them over, and yeah. Hopefully we can make them ready for the bigger sport, or sometimes we make the decision to sell the horses, you know, and make someone else happy with them. In every stage of my career, I you know, I must say that's the positive side, of course, when I have a dad like you know, like my father, with that much experience already in the sport, and so he also could teach me as a rider and also make sure I had always the right horses, you know. Example, Verdi, I must say, had been very lucky. Had a couple of very good horses, but like a horse like Verdi, he could do something extra on a very important competition or a championships, especially when it was getting very big or very difficult. With him I could make that little difference, you know, to be able to get a medal on Europeans or World Equestrian Games or and the Olympic Games. Yeah.
For the Netherlands, Michael van der Vleuten with VDL Group's Verdi.
Michael van der Vleuten.
Verdi TN representing the Netherlands
in their very first Olympic Games.
Has to go wide. I think his time's almost exactly the same. Can de Vleuten stop the clock within the 37? He does.
Jumps the last, and there's our first double clear.
Geluk daar op de stijlsprong, blijft liggen en de laatste.
Der vorne rumgeht. Schafft es vor Longines und damit ist ganz klar schneller. Ganz klar schneller.
He's brilliant. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. 36.94.
Can he do it? Can he do it? Yes, he can. 33.06.
Doet hij het of doet hij het niet?
Michael van der Vleuten.
Michael van der Vleuten, Eureka!
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of today's competition, representing the Netherlands with Veergroep Verdi TN, Michael van der Vleuten.
So first of all, always said you have to enjoy with what you're doing. I think if you don't enjoy riding or horses, I mean, because you have to spend so much time in it that you really have to live for them, you know. And then if you really want to get far, I think it's hard working. You have to work hard, and okay, someone who has naturally good feeling with horses, it makes life already a bit easier, you know. And on the end, it's very important that you get the right group of people around you who can bring you further in the sport. In my case, I was been very lucky with my parents, who, because they were already quite far and experienced in the top sport. But I think even if you don't have parents who are involved with the sport, I think on the end it's important that you get the right people beside you who can help you further and bring you up in the level. And then on the end, if really the results have to get there, then it's very important that you have the right horses under your saddle.
Donc j'espère que cette petite rencontre avec les cavaliers qui travaillent ici vous aura plu. Pour ma part, je vais aller chercher ma selle qui se trouve dans le camion pour pouvoir aller Mathilde Sligo. Il est en train de finir son repas, il est environ 17h, 17h30. Je vais aller le monter sur la piste de galop en bordure de forêt, ça va être trop cool. Donc voilà, je vous emmène avec moi sur cette petite randonnée champêtre de début de soirée. Voilà tout le monde, cette vidéo est terminée, j'espère qu'elle vous aura plu. N'hésitez pas à liker, commenter, partager et surtout abonnez-vous. En attendant, à très bientôt. Bye!